Imagine, 3 days before closing, the seller backs out. Money's already spent. The cost is sunk. What do you do? That's exactly what happened to me, and today I'm going to walk you through how I was able to save the deal on this house. I'll give you a tour of the house, and I'll also explain a little backstory on the back end of what happened after we closed the deal. Stick around, you're not going to want to miss this. Take a look at that right-hand side wall there. We'll come back to that, but this house, I almost lost it. $25,000 deal, off-market deal. Lady lived here for a while, her and her son. Wanted to sell it, too big of a house for them, needs some repairs on the inside. We'll get to there, but tell me what color you think this house is, because I was told this house is brown. I see it as gray. I would love to get your input. What color is that house? One bedroom right off the bat. The room had an air conditioner in it, leaked, kind of messed up the wall there. We'll come back to this wall over here, but that's the wall that's kind of bowing out a little bit. There's one bathroom in this place. I'm going to show you what we were going to do with it, but I'm going to tell you the backstory at the end. It needs windows, some plastic over it. It is winter time here. That is not an uncommon thing for inefficient windows. I was going to convert this room right here into a bathroom. I think this could be a bathroom, and on the other side of that door was another bathroom. So I think the plumbing's there. It's a pretty easy thing to have happen. Big house, big kitchen. This is the bathroom. You can kind of see there's the door, stand-in shower, washer and dryer hookup back here. Again, pretty big, pretty spacious space. Let's go upstairs. There's 2 bedrooms upstairs. They're both the same. I'm not going to go into the one behind. When we come up, you'll briefly see it, but I'm not going to go in there. They're working on some electric in there when I'm doing this. We just took this over. The lady moved out. We were going in and assessing in that video, trying to see what all we needed to do to paint everything, put the doors back on the cabinet that was missing, and fix that floor in that room where it kind of pulled apart from the wall. That's not overly that uncommon. We've had to do that a couple different times. I'll probably do a separate video about that when we get there. The house has some electric issues where part of the house isn't getting electric. We kind of identified that. We'll get that fixed. And then you saw the plastic over the windows, which again isn't overly uncommon. It does get cold in Central Illinois. So definitely, people try to keep their utility bills reasonable because they are unreasonable right now, just with everything going on. But back to the story, right? So the story is 3 days before closing, I get this text from the lady, and she wants to cancel. And to make it worse, why it was down to the wire, I was trying to get a hold of her several times, and I think she had some seller remorse at first. When she first wanted to sell it, I used some creative financing to kind of make sure that she was squared away and she was getting everything she wanted. I'm going to make a whole video on some of the creative financing and things that I've done in the past that can maybe help you land the deal. But anyway, she really wanted to sell the house. It was too much for her. Her son wanted her to get into a better place where she didn't have as much maintenance to do. They could keep up with the house, and she was all for it. My dad stopped by a couple times during the process just to make sure that everything was still good to go. We started the process with the bank and title company, and everything was moving along. And then 3 days before we were supposed to close, I get a text saying, "There's no way I'm selling. It's not going to happen." I responded to the text asking if we could talk, if there was anything I could do to make the deal better. What was the issue? What was the concerns? And at first I was blown off. I'd actually contacted my insurance guy and the bank and the title company to tell them I thought the deal was probably off at this point. After I contacted the bank and title company, the next day I was actually able to get contact with the lady selling the house. We had a great conversation. I understood what she was looking for. There's not a lot of affordable housing in this area, and I totally get that. So I told her, hey, let's continue to sell, and I'll give you some free rent until the end of the year, if that's what you need. Just that little bit of compassion went a long way. I think that's what actually closed the deal. But the story gets better. Now I reach back out to my insurance guy, the bank, and the title company, tell them everything's green light. At this point, I'm a little unsure if it's actually still going to truly happen. So I tell them there's about an 85% chance this thing's going to go through. But, I live a little bit of ways. I drove and I was committed and I was there. They were there as well. We closed on the deal. They signed a form saying they're going to be out by the time that we agreed to. And everything was good to go. Fast forward to time to be out. And I'm sure some of you guys have already leaped there thinking they're not going to leave. Well, they did. They actually left a little before. There was a great opportunity for them to move into a house that a relative had lived in. It was a nice house. They moved everything in over a weekend. And that's actually when we filmed that video that you saw. We were there to assess what was going to be needed, what windows would need replaced, what paint would need to be done, how we could convert that one room into another bathroom, because that would actually make the place a lot easier to rent and you would get a little higher rent. Many people may think that, hey, just having another bedroom means that much more money. But at some point, the point on return of bedrooms versus bathrooms is something you got to think about. If there are 5 bedrooms in that house and you only have 1 bathroom, that's a lot of people competing for that 1 bathroom. So when it comes to my buy box, which we'll talk about buy boxes another time, I'm really looking for that 2 bed, 2 bath, 3 bed, 2 bath. I really like that second bath. I think it just makes the house much easier to liquidate in the event that you need to do something like that. But anyway, back to this. So they moved out. We started assessing the situation, seeing what we were going to need to be doing. They were getting their final stuff out during that video that we filmed. The weekend goes by, and on Monday, the lady calls my dad. She's like, I'm not happy where I'm at. This is not home. I've lived in that house for 18 years or whatever the number was. How can I move back? I'll pay anything. And in my mind, I'm trying to be super fair because I understand that it was her house. I want to be fair. I don't know her financial situation. I don't know what anything looks like from that perspective. I know the housing's not super affordable there, and I'm trying to be fair about it. Had I converted that bedroom into a bath, put in the new windows, painted everything, fixed the electric problem, we're probably looking at $800 to $900, depending on what that ultimately looks like. So now I'm like backtracking in my mind, and I'm like trying to be super fair and compassionate about the situation. I throw out a number to my mom and dad because they have rental property as well. We talk through the situation. We float the number by the lady, and she's like amazed. She's like, hey, that's a lot less than I'm paying now, and I can move back home. I'll pay tomorrow. Long story short, she moved back into her house. She's paying a great monthly rent, and we're fixing some stuff on the side as we go. And I don't have to feel rushed or put out a bunch of capital and try to recoup it over time. I can slowly invest to upgrade this property. Obviously, we'll fix any safety issues immediately, and then we'll work from there. I don't have to paint anything because she loves the paint that was in there. All I have to do is fix the electric, the safety issues, and I'm good. I'm going to upgrade the windows. I'm going to do this, but she's perfectly fine in the house as it is right now, and we'll upgrade the windows this summer. I'm going to do a whole nother video on creative financing, talking through some of these, because I've had many times and many situations where deals almost fell through, or I'd had to do some really out of the box ideas for getting the deal done. And I think if I can explain them to you, maybe I can give you some ideas on how you can go do things like this as well. I know not everybody can go leverage debt. I know not everybody has great credit, but there are a million ways you can get the deal closed. I just want to give you some food for thought in a future video on how to do that. And as for this deal, it instantly cash flowed. Low money out, great deal. Fix over time. Not commit all my money at one point, which freed up other money to do something else with. Stay tuned because I'm closing on another one. I can't wait to bring you that one. It's a historic house. And if you get anything out of this video, I'd ask that you share it, like it, subscribe it. Thank you for your support. Stick around. We're going to do great things.